What we've done thus far is made baseline assumptions in terms of how much engines will cost and how many are needed per vehicle, how much seats will cost and how much they're needed per vehicle, some outside supply that we will be purchasing in the assembly of the vehicle, and we have, in essence, a labor model that indicates the number of people that will need to be hired at a certain task right now, as well as an additional number of people who will need to be hired to perform a separate task with their associated wage rates, work hours, and benefits allocations. We'd like to put that all together so we can try to estimate the total costs of a car. In order to do that, the first thing we have to understand is how many cars will we be making each quarter. The way I'm going to do this is equals and then inter-tab reference. And the way that I do it on my keyboard is control page up and control page down. I don't know if that works on your keyboard. You might have to use the mouse. But your first navigation is going to be Model 1 in quarter 1 is equal to the amount from the online we will sell of Model 1 plus the amount we will sell of Model 1 in North America in quarter 1 plus the amount that we will sell in Europe in quarter 1 plus the amount of Model 1 we will sell in Asia in quarter 1, and that gave me 30 total units of production of Model 1 in quarter 1 by referencing my 4 different channels: online, North America, Europe, and Asia. If we go ahead and move down then, to now let's figure out in quarter 1, how much will it cost us then to make those 30 cars from an engine's point of view? It's going to be equals. The quantity we know is not going to change in this quarter, nor will the price. But when we move forward, the quantity that we produce could change quarter over quarter. We might be making more in quarter 2 or quarter 3 or quarter 4. But the cost per engine is not going to change. So we're going to fix that by, I heard someone say in my class last night, function F4 does that on the Mac. F4 does it for me, or if you can't do it any other way, you just type $B, $6. So what that tells me is I'm going to spend on 30 different cars, $10,000 per engine, and I need 1 engine for every car. And that doesn't change either. So that in Q1, I'm expecting $300,000 in engine-related cost of goods. Now, what about as it relates to tires? Again, tires, there'll be 30 cars made. Each car requires 4 tires. That doesn't change. Multiplied by $200 per tire, and that doesn't change. Seats will be the same. It's 30 cars, each which has 4 seats. That doesn't change. Multiplied by $500, which will tell you then we need $60,000 worth of seats in quarter 1. If we then combine that with our electronics and raw materials costs by summing all of those values up, we should get our total materials expenditures for making 30 cars in quarter 1. Will someone check, does that vibe with my other number off the other sheet? Yes, no? Thank you. Okay. Now let's look at production costs. 75 employees making $22 per hour for 500 hours, but they also get benefits that are going to be equal to 30% of their salary. So to calculate the cost per employee, it's going to be equals $22 an hour, but we need to inflate that by the rate of the benefits that are paid. So a 30% markup to your average wage rate should tell you how much each employee makes when it includes their benefits. That same analysis we can do for our testing employees. If they make a rate that's equal to $27 an hour multiplied by 1 plus the markup for benefits, tells me that testing employees cost me all in $35.10 per person to work. Equals $27 multiplied by 1 plus the markup for benefits.
Is this a situation where we can drag across?
I never drag. We're going to copy though in a few minutes. So in essence, possibly. All right, this formula gets to be a little more complex than the rest. It's not complex in narrative form. How much do you pay your employees? Their wage rate times the number of hours they work times the number of them. It's not that challenging, but it's a lot of clicking. So equals, first, for our assembly production, the wage rate multiplied by the number of hours they work multiplied by the number of employees. So you got 75 employees working 500 hours per quarter, making $28.60 per employee. That is specific to the producers. If we'd like, we could put parentheses around that. Excel loves parentheses, there's no harm. But the other day, we also talked about that Excel also knows order of operations. So if I just hit plus, it's going to calculate this first multiplicative outcome and then add to it that at $35.10 an hour multiplied by 500 hours, I'm going to have to pay 10 different testing employees. $1.248. Can someone check our numbers, make sure that works? Can you check it against my old spreadsheet though? Just because you got it and I got it today, don't mean either of us are right. It's not? What is it in the old one? All right, there's something funky in Denmark. We'll look it up. All right. Then, total production. We're at number 9. Total production then is going to be equal to the total materials that are spent per car plus the total labor that is spent per car. Because cost of goods is direct materials, direct labor. So that looks like 1641 according to this spreadsheet. The last one is if we determine production costs in total allocated or divided by all 30 of the different units that we sell and produce this quarter gives us 54,700. We'll look. We may have done something wacky. Or I might have done something wacky this weekend. We'll edit that off recording. Now, to the earlier question, presuming that this is right, can I now take all of these calculations and just copy and paste them over? The answer is absolutely you can. Because we set them up well in the very beginning, oh my goodness, we got something wacky going on. Look at that. 92 million number in that quarter. We're going to need to fix something here, gang. All right, so let's go ahead and stop recording now, and let's see if we can diagnose our problem and then get ourselves back squared away. No, I don't want to record. I want to pause.